Okay, Ela told us Noach. Noach is Sadik Tamay B'Deraisav Esel Kimas Halach Noach. The pasuk says, these are the children of Noach. Noach is a great Sadik. Tamim, he was perfect. One translation, B'Deraisav in his generation. Esel Kimas Halach Noach, and Noach walked with Hashem. So Rashi's bothered by the fact that it says Ela told us Noach. These are the children of Noach, and doesn't mention the children. There's no mention of children. Right? The next pasuk says Vayolad Noach Shal Shabanim, but this pasuk begins Ela told us Noach. These are the children of Noach, and doesn't mention them. So Rashi brings a davar acher. So first Rashi says, well, once it mentions Noach, Zecher Tzadik V'Racha, so it also mentions the good things about Noach. Fine. The second pshat Rashi says like this: davar acher lelamdacha sheikar toldoseim shel tzadikim masim tovim. The main toldos of a tzaddik are his masim tovim. That Elu told us Noach, yes, that he was a tzaddik, tamim, that are his toldos. Because the ikar toldosam, shal tzadikim, and maisim tovim. Okay? Fine. Very nice. What does that mean, really? I mean, that the maisim tovim at tzaddik are his toldos. Do Rishayim have maisim tovim? Rishayim, wicked people, could they have maisim tovim?
They can.
They sure can, right?
Rishayim.
Yeah. They can do masim tovim.
They can repent.
But even before that, as a Russia, can a Russia do masim tovim?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
A Russia can give tzedakah.
The guy could be a drug dealer and also like pay charity too.
Yeah, exactly, exactly right. So what does it mean that the masim tovim of tzaddikim are their toldos? And what about a Russia? Here Rashi says the Torah is telling you the toldos of a tzaddik are his masim tovim. And what about a Russia? Also masim tovim. So the Sfas Emes says very succinctly, Kedakar B'Kodesh, it's true. A Russia could have masim tovim, but they're not his toldos. What does that mean? It's not his toldos. What does that mean?
Not wholeheartedly.
Well, not wholeheartedly. That's one way of looking at it. Okay, good. In fact, I think Moshe Feinstein says something like that. Moshe Feinstein says that just like your children, you love them, you cherish them, you polish them, you should do the same thing with your masim tovim. And maybe Rishayim, they do the mitzvah, but it's not wholehearted. Like when you love your child, you go all out, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe that's true. The Rishayim, it's not their masim, it's not their toldos because they don't treat them like children, right? They don't love them that same way. Nice idea.
Yeah, you'll ask him give donation to the church for them, but they don't really want to do it. I thought, okay, what the heck, here, $10,000. But they do.
I don't mind if somebody said, "What the heck gave me $10,000?" That's sizable. I wouldn't get too upset. But what does it mean? What does it mean that the Rishayim, that the Masim Tovim are not they're not toldos? There's something I've seen a few times. Like there are bumper stickers that say, "Do random acts of kindness." You ever seen it before?
Yeah. Right.
Random acts of kindness. That is not really what the Torah wants. What does a random act of kindness mean? That means even if you're not feeling, also just on the spur of the moment, I want to do an act of kindness. Do a random act of kindness. Now, there's nothing wrong with a random act of kindness. Don't get me wrong. But what it basically means is when you're in the mood, you'll do an act of kindness. When you're not in the mood, you won't do it. Right? That's not a Torah idea. The Torah wants that your kindness should be an outgrowth of who you are. It's part of who you are. It's not like, once in a while, let me do something kind. That's a random act. It's not coming from within you. Just once in a while, the mood, something external. Just you see a commercial about giving stuff. Okay, give. Right. So there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not coming from within inside of you. A Russia could do masim tovim, but it's not his toldos. It's not something he gives birth to. It's not something that's a natural outgrowth. Let me explain to you what I mean a little further. For instance, later on, or even with Lot. Lot also was an interesting fellow. He did masim tovim, but it wasn't part of who he was. And that's why he does all these terrible things also. Lot, when Avram says, let's go our different ways, so Lot chooses the worst possible location, Sin City, Stone, right? Worst place in the world. He goes there. Why? Because anything he did till now, on the surface looked nice, but it wasn't part of who he really was in the essence. He just did it when he was copying Avram. When Eliezer goes to find a wife for Yitzchak, so what does he do? He says, I'm going to give a test. If I ask for water, and now that she give me water, she says, you know what, I'm going to give you camels too. That's the right person. It's like today, if you go up to the gas station, and if I ask for gas, and he says, you know what, I'll wipe your windshield also. Oh, he's the right. But what does that mean? What was that? Why is that an extra test? Because If I just ask her for what she gives it to me, it could be a random act of kindness. I asked, she copied it, and she gave it to me. But if she does more than what I ask, that means it's coming from inside yourself. See, then it's genuine, it's real, because that which is part of who you are, you keep producing more and more and more. But if it's not really genuine who you are, then you'll do an act. Do an act of kindness. So maybe Rivka was doing a random act of kindness. I asked her, she did it. But if she offers more, that means it's coming from inside of herself. You follow?
You're a good person.
Okay. So that's what it means here. Elu Toldos Noach. That the Toldos of Noach was Ma'asim Tovim, because that really is, for Tzaddik, his Ma'asim Tovim are an outgrowth of who he is. It's an expression of who he is. And it keeps getting more and more and more. Okay. So on the one hand, Noach was a pretty special person. On the other hand, we know that the flood is called Mei Noach, the waters of Noach. The Noah refers. Now I don't know about you. I don't mind if I have a building named after me, a highway named after me, but I don't want a flood named after me. I don't want a hurricane named after me, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not really a great kavod, right, to have a mabel named after you. Mm-hmm. So obviously it's not meant to be a kavod. It's a little bit of a slight to Noach. That Noach, in a way, you're responsible for this flood. Why? Chazal say because he wasn't able to effectively reach out to anybody else besides his immediate family. Himself, that's it. Mm. In fact, some learn, in the Psukim themselves, in the Torah itself, there's no commas, there's no punctuation marks, right? And the reason for that, one reason is so you can put commas in different places and get different meanings. So look at this first pasuk. Ela told us Noach. Stop right there. You know what Noach produced? Himself. That's it. He couldn't produce anything more than himself. Him and his family. But he was not able to reach out to an entire door. The whole world collapses. Now, why? What happened? Why wasn't he able to reach out to them? Part of it is that he didn't really think he had the ability to do so. In fact, it says he was a tzaddik in his generation. And we all know the famous Rashi. Yeah, in the generation of this generation, he was a tzaddik. Had he been in the generation of Avram, Lahel Nesla Klum, he'd consider nobody. Compared to Avram, he'd pale in comparison. Right? Now that's not a nice thing to say. And the other side is, no, in his generation he was a tzaddik. Imagine how much greater he could have been if he would have been a tzaddik of good people. And a generation of good people. Here he had all bad people to bring him down, and he was still good. Imagine how much better he could have been, and he would have been, had he been a generation of good people. So if you have an opportunity to say good or not good, so why don't we just dash the good? Say that he would have been better there, right? But instead we say, Yesh Darshan L'Gnai and Yesh Darshan L'Shvach. There are some that see this statement, that he was a tzaddik in his generation as a praise, that he would be even better and greater in another generation, or others see this as a kenai, it's derogatory, that only in this generation he stood out as being good, but had he been in another generation, not so good. By the way, once asked the Chutzker Rebbe, once like this, the biggest raya, the biggest proof that he was a tzaddik, is that some people said good things about him, and some people said bad things about him. That's the biggest proof. In other words, when you're a leader and you have to get out on a limb, you're going to have both sides, complaining or saying shvach. That's the biggest proof, in fact. But okay, so why do we choose to also darshan, to extrapolate that perhaps this is meant in a derogatory sense? And the answer is, they're not mutually exclusive. They're both true. Had he been a generation of Avram, he could have been better. But compared to Avram, he wouldn't have been. Right? Had he been in a generation of better people, he would have been a better person. But still, he paled in comparison to Avram. So they're not mutually exclusive. But it tells you two things. One thing Torah wants to tell you is, you always have to be better. Don't look at the people around you and say, compared to them, I'm a tzaddik. So therefore Torah says, no. But had you been in generation of Avram? Nothing. Not because we're trying to put you down. We're trying to say, don't be satisfied with just being better than the next guy next to you. Look, everybody out here, and today, by the way, we live in such a decadent world. It's easy to say, I'm a tzaddik. You know why? I don't steal. I don't rape. I'm a tzaddik, right? Because look at the world out there. They're crazy people. But we can't just set our standard as compared to them. No, so that's what the Torah wants to say. Noach, yes, you were shichman l'mayla everybody else. You were head and shoulders above everybody here. But you can't stop there. And Noach, in a way, was happy with that. He was happy to stay where he would. And the word Noach means, I'm comfortable. He was comfortable. I'm comfortable this way. I'm better than everybody else. I'm doing something good. He didn't push himself even further. So the only thing he produced was himself. And he didn't think the next part is like this. That we're not saying something bad about Noach by saying, had he been in the generation of Avram, he would have been considered less. That's what Noach was thinking about himself. The opposite I'm telling you now. He said, I know I'm good compared to these people, but had I been in the generation of Avram, I'd be a nobody. Which means he didn't see himself as a great person. And because of that, he lacked the confidence in himself to really change the rest of the generation and change the world. I'm going to change the world? Psh, I can barely keep my head above water. So it's not the Torah saying something derogatory. It's the Torah telling us what Noah's thinking in his own mind. Compared to Avram, I'd be a nobody. Compared to these guys, I'm okay. And he didn't feel that he really had the ability to change other people's lives, which he certainly could have, and he should have. There's another reason why he's held accountable. Let's say he made best efforts. He walks to the ark and says, okay, I did the best I could. That's it. But you know what? There's a famous story. He doesn't feel the pain. Oy vey, I couldn't save this generation. He said, listen, I couldn't save them. That's it. There's a famous story in the Medrash where 3 people were asked to give advice to Paro, what to do with the Jewish problem. He had all these Jews, these slaves, and they're getting bigger and bigger. He thought there'll be a 5th column. They can rebel. He's nervous. So he needed a final solution, right? So he needed a solution. So he asked 3 people. Okay, so Yisro ran away. He said, I don't want any part of this. I know where this is going. I see the hair on the wall. I want no part of this. Bilam said, kill him. Great. And Eov kept silent because he knew, what am I going to say? I see Paro's excited already. He wants to kill the Jews. He's not going to listen to me. I'll keep silent. And for that, Eov is punished the rest of his life, and he suffers the pains of Eov. And people ask the Kasha, but why? He was right. His cheshbon was right. What should he have done? Teretz is, there's an expression in Yiddish. Bist tut weh, weint man. If something hurts you, you cry. Even if what's the crying going to help? If I stick a pin in your finger, ow! Why do you say ow? So what? Because if something hurts, you have to scream. So, the fact that you were able to keep your silence, even if you couldn't do anything about it, how could you remain silent? If it really hurt you enough, you would have screamed. Even if you couldn't do anything, you have to scream. Mm-hmm. In Poland, when other non-Jews saw what happened, let's say they felt powerless to fight Hitler, but they should at least scream. If they didn't scream, then he said it didn't bother them that much.
They were passive.
Didn't bother them. And so Noach was passive also. The word Noach means that, passive. And the problem was Noach said, okay, listen, I try my best, nothing's happening, but why aren't you crying in pain that this generation is going down? So for that, he's held accountable, May Noach. That's one idea.
You should have tell the same thing like Moshe Rabbeinu did on behalf of the Jews. Moshe Rabbeinu, same thing, that God going to destroy the Jews. You're going to start a new generation from you. If you're going to destroy these people, take my name off of your
wow. Your I don't think you realize what a great thing you said. You said that Moshe Rabbeinu was the opposite of Noach. Yes. Noach didn't care, or he didn't do enough, and Moshe said, take my name out. I'll take something else. This is unbelievable. Yes. It's called Mei Noach. Right? You know what Moshe Rabbeinu said? Mecheni no, erase me. Mecheni is osios Mei Noach. He was the opposite, very good. So whereas it's called Mei Noach because he didn't care enough, Moshe Rabbeinu said Mecheni, the same letters as Mei Noach, but that's the opposite. He said, if they're going down, I'm going down. He was the opposite of it. It should be very good.
On behalf of the people, so the whole planet they're going to destroy part of it. At least save 10 people. Same thing Abraham did. When he destroyed the Sodom and Gomorrah, he got at least 10 people, 9 people, 5 people.
So that's Moshe Rabbeinu was a tikkun. Moshe Rabbeinu was a tikkun in that sense of what Noach didn't do. Very, very good. Yeah. Just as an aside, I usually don't get into this, but it's very fascinating. I don't get into Kabbalah stuff so much, but it's brought down from the Baal Shem. It's fascinating. It says that Hashem wanted to destroy the world. Ki mola haaretz chamas. See in pasuk Yigimel. V'yemel kimel nach keitz kalbasa balafani ki mola haaretz chamas. The world is full of chamas. It has the translation chamas in English over here. Robbery. Okay, but we'll see that there's a deeper level for chamas also.
Violent.
Yeah, but more. Okay, yeah. There are, in the world, there's Ra and there's Tov, right? And Ra could only exist, there's a little connection to Tov. Let me fast forward. Let me tell you something about that. The Torah goes into detail about the ark, and it says he built 3 floors. Right? The top floor was for what? Top floor was what?
Birds.
What? No.
The Cheruvim.
No. People.
Family.
Middle floor.
Middle floor.
Middle floor was for whom?
Animals.
The animals. And the bottom floor?
Food.
What? No. For waste.
Wait.
Waste. Right? Now, the Torah doesn't go into great detail about how the ark was built, meaning how it was built, how many rooms they had in the ark, how big were the rooms. Why does the Torah got to have how many floors? Obviously, you can have a floor for people, a floor for the animals, and a floor for all the waste. What's the Torah telling us? The Torah is telling us a much deeper idea. There's a world, the world changes. There's a transition from one world to another world. Pre-flood, post-flood. When Adam ate from the Eitz Hadas, Tov Ra, he changed the phenomenal world. It used to be, there was Tov and there was Ra. Separate. And you had to choose which one you wanted. The word Das means knowledge, but also means to connect. The Eitz Hadas, Tov Ra, means it was a tree that connected good and evil. When Adam ate from that tree, you know what he created? He created a world where every good has some evil, and some evil may have some good. I can give tzedakah, but maybe I'm doing it because I want people to see my name in lights. Right? I can dive a long Shemon Esrei because I want people to say, "Oh, he dives long Shemon Esrei." Right? There was to every good there could be a little bit of ra, a little selfishness, and the avoda, and even ra can have a little bit of tov in it as well. And the avoda of life is what we call birur, to be able to extract and only do something totally l'toiv, to be able to extract the ra. And every ma'isa, you see, right? When you do an action, you can have multiple motives. Some are good, and some are not good. Right? You can do one ma'isa, and part of it, I want to do it because it's the right thing to do. And part of it is because, it makes me feel good because people see me doing right. So the avodah is to somehow be able to extract the ra in the action and be kula toiv. That's the avodah, right? In fact, the Rambam, the Mishnah of this, we say after every parak, Ratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu Zak Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to merit Bnei Yisrael. Therefore, he gave him many mitzvahs. So the simple understanding is, he gave us many mitzvahs, because many mitzvahs equals many schusim. The Rambam says, no. He gave us many mitzvahs, you know why? So maybe we could do one right. What does that mean? Of course we do more than one mitzvah right, but to do it perfectly right, without any ra in it, meaning to have the kavanah perfect, and the ma'isa perfect, and the motion perfect, and have any element of selfish motive in there, you have to do many mitzvahs to get one right. It doesn't mean the others aren't worthless, chas v'shalom. But to get a mitzvah mamish kulei toiv, that's when you do many mitzvahs to get one right. Right? Okay. And I believe in a certain sense, when you daven also, you say many psukim. Maybe you get one pasuk right. Maybe the whole davening, there'll be one pasuk, your mamish tata, we totally focus on the pasuk, without dreaming of this and that, right? So maybe that's part of it as well. Okay. So the bottom part of the ark represents this avoda of birur. That's now something called waste. Until now, there wasn't anything called waste. Waste means the stuff that is the excessive part of the action that doesn't belong there. And so the mentioning of the bottom part of the table, the third floor, and the waste is the idea of this new world order where there's an avoda of getting rid of waste. There's an avoda of extracting the waste from the good. By the way, there's a reason why the mon, you didn't have to go to the bathroom, right? Because there was no ran there. There was no waste in there. But that was an anomaly. That was a special kind of food. But our vote is to extract. In fact, when you make a bracha, you're also extracting the spark, right, from the rest of the food, right? And what's left is a klipa, a shell. That's the part that's not good, right? Okay. So, if the avoda is to extract the ra from the tov, or the tov and the ra, and that's the avoda, and by the way, that's why on Shabbos, by the way, on Shabbos is an Isra Borer. You're not supposed to pull, right, the bad out of the good, right? You don't take the good that you want to eat, right? Why? Because the avoda of birur is during the week. Shabbos, everything's complete. So we don't do an avoda of birur. We don't take the bad from good, because that's not avoda the rest of the week. Shabbos, I just focus on the type. I'm just eating the food, what I want. That's the one idea, deeper level of borer on Shabbos is because I'm not doing the avoda of borer on Shabbos. That's the world also lavo. When I want to do borer anymore. Understand? Mm-hmm. With me, guys? Okay.
You can't pull the tea bag out of the tea.
Huh?
You can't pull the tea bag. You have to the other reverse it.
Right.
Anyway,
okay.
That's the
same idea. Okay. So now we have Noach, who. Okay. So let's get back to the table. All right. So this table, So I'm sorry. So the evil in the world is by two places. Samael, that's the angel of evil, Samael, and also the Nachash. Like I told you earlier, everything bad has to have some tov in it to even survive. So in Samael, it's obviously the Aleph Lamed, that's El, that's God. And Sam is the poison, that's the bad part. In Nachash, it's brought down that the Ches, or maybe it's Chet even, sin, is the bad part. And the Nun Shin are the Oasis of Tov, whatever reason it is. Okay. And that's why it says, by the Dar HaMabul, there was no Tov left in the world. It was Kulai Ra. There's no Bira left. It was all bad. There's nothing to save. It was all imploded. There's nothing to save. And that's why it says, Ki Molei Ha'aretz Chamas. What are the letters Chamas? It's the Ches from Nachash, and it's the Samach Mem from Samael. There was no Aleph Lamed, there was no Nun Shin. Ki Molei Ha'aretz Chamas. The only thing left in the world was the letter Ches Mem Samach. What I told you, in Nachash, the letter Ches is the bad part. In the Samael, it's a Samach Mem, correct?
That's interesting.
Yeah, so Ki Molei Ha'aretz Chamas means that the only thing left in the world was Chamas. The Ches, the Mem Samach. There was no Taiv left. You hear what I'm saying? Yes or no? So Chamas are the letters Ches from the Nachash and the Mem Samach of Samael. You with me?
What is Samal against?
Samal is Ra.
Right.
Is Ra. So, but in Ra, the Samach Mem is the Ra part, and the Aleph Lamed is the Tov part that keeps it going. But so I'm saying, by the Dar HaMabul was Kulei Ra. So therefore, all you had left was Chamas, the Ches, the Mem Samach, the Ches of Nachash, which is the Ra part, and the Samach Mem of Chamas of Samael. You got that?
Yeah.
So where did the Tov go? It went into the Teva with Noach. You know how I know that? What are the dimensions of the Teva? How long was the Teva?
300.
Good. And how wide was it? 50. How tall was it?
150.
30. And it went El Amma Tachalena and went a roof till one Amma on top, right? 300 long. That's the Ois Shin of Nachash. That was good, right? Shin of Shin Kamatio 300, right?
Okay.
Then you have the Nun of Nachash. That's 50. It's 50 wide. Then you have Samael. You have the Lamid of El. That's the 30 tall. And the Aleph of Samael is the Amma Tachalana, the one Amma on top. So the Oises of Tov went literally into the dimensions of the Teva. 300 long by 50 wide. You with me? Right? Because it's the Nachash, the Ois Shin of the Nachash, which is Tov, is the length. The Ois Mem of the Nachash is the width of the Teva. The 30 height is the Lamed of Samael. El Amma Tachalana, one Amma on top, is the Aleph. Fascinating. Kimala Aretz Chamas. The world got all Chamas. The only type was left in the was for Noach in the time in the table. Wow. Fascinating, no? Unbelievable. Okay, let's do this. Okay. It says like this. It says that when Noach went into the ark, he went to the ark because there was a mabul. So Rashi tells us.
Rabbi, the very quick question. The sohar, I know it's physical to seal it, but in a spiritual, does that mean anything? I mean, like when he made the teva.
Actually, it's a machlokes. That window, it's a machlokes. Was it a stone that brought in the light and shone, or was it a window?
No, I'm talking about sohar. You know, like the tar, or whatever they use, to seal it, the wood from inside and outside.
You mean the tar?
The tar, yeah. What does that signify? I mean, like, not in the physical sense, but in terms of what you just said.
I don't know. I know, it's a good question. But if you look at on page 32, and on the bottom of the page, the second pasuk of the land, Vayavai Noach ubanav v'ishtay u'nishtay banav itay el teva, and Noach and his children and his wife and their wives went with him into the teva b'pnei mei hamabel, because of the waters of the flood. What does that mean? Look at this. Look, even in English, she said. The implication is that this is Rashi. The implication is that Noach and his family entered the ark only when the rising water forced them to seek refuge. No, it's when they only went when they actually felt that water happening, right? Rashi says, someplace over here, yeah. Af Noach mektane amar. You have to see Rashi. Af Noach, the bottom line of Rashi. Af Noach mektane amanahoya. Noach himself was mektane amana, which means he also had very little faith. Mamin ve'ena mamin. He believed and he really didn't believe. Why? Sheyaba mabel come. V'loi nichnas leteva achdachu hamayim. And he didn't enter into the ark until the water pushed him in. In other words, he felt compelled to go in. Okay? It's a hard thing to understand. Noach was mektane amana. We just said he was a tzaddik tamim, right? And now we're saying, he only went in when he felt the rain coming. This is really it. I gotta go. What's going on over here? And it's also interesting the way Rashi describes him. He says he's a mamin ve'ena mamin. Just say he means to imply obviously he's not such a mamin. He was local kach, right? Mm-hmm. So let him say local kach. Local kach mamin. What is this? Mamin ve'ena mamin. It's bizarre. So see what Rashi means. An incredible idea. Famous Gemara. Rabbi Yochanan is on his deathbed. I think it was Rabbi Yochanan on his deathbed. And the Talmidim come for one final time. They want a bracha from him. You know, when a person passes away, says the neshama right before he sees the neshama, it's more powerful. That's why we want to get a bracha. That's why Yisrael gave a bracha to Yaakov also. Okay, so they asked for a bracha, and his bracha gave him this: I want you to fear Hashem as much as you fear a king of flesh and blood. He said, very cool. Yeah, that's the whole bracha. That's it. We're better than that. Of course we fear Hashem more than we fear a king. He said, halavai, you should only fear Hashem the same way. What does that mean? He was saying like this: I know you fear Hashem more than you fear a king of flesh and blood. But in the abstract, meaning in an abstract sense, you feel it. But in an abstract sense, you know it rather. But when you're in front of a king of flesh and blood, you feel that presence. You feel that power. And you're quite intimidated also. When you're in front of Hashem, do you feel that intimidation? No. In your head, you know it's true. But it's not part of your heritage.
You don't see it.
Because you don't see it, it's not part of your heritage. Yeah. It doesn't get into your bones. And he's saying, I want you to feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu in your bones. I want it to be real, not just in the abstract. And it's a very hard thing, because human beings, we react to things we see physically. It doesn't become real to us as much as when the abstract, right? When something's abstract, it doesn't pain us as much. When someone, tells you about a terrible story, it hurts, but when you see it, wow, then I really feel the pain much more, right? When it becomes more real. And by that, that's why we do mitzvahs too, to make the relationship real. We do physical things to make it real. So the pasuk is telling like this, that Noach was a Baal Amunah. In the abstract, he certainly believed it. But you know what? If he was a real Baal Amunah, he wouldn't need the raindrops on him to feel, it's real, it's really happening. If it was real, if it was a real mamin in the fullest sense, he wouldn't need the raindrops like, this is really happening. It would have been real to him before. So while he was a mamin in the abstract, he didn't feel it until he actually felt it. That's what Rashi says, mamin ve'ena mamin. Because it's two things. He was a total mamin in his head. But in his aggregation, he was not yet a mamin. You follow? So Rashi doesn't say, lo yahya mamin kol kach. He doesn't say he wasn't such a bal mamin. He says, no, mamin ve'ena mamin. Because both are true. He was a total mamin in here. But he wasn't yet really a full mamin in feeling it. It wasn't real enough to him until the actual raindrops fell. And that's considered to be a chesaron on Noach's part. Okay. Now, Noach also is compared to Avram, right? Had he compared to Avram, he'd be a nobody, right? That's one thing. And Esel Kimasach Noach, that Hashem walked with Noach, but Avram was able to walk in front of Hashem because he didn't need Hashem's help. Not Hashem's help. There seems to be a comparison between Avram and Noach that the Torah is trying to make. What's really going on over here? There is there's a mission of us that says, Hakol Safri Marosh Varshush L'Sunah B'Yadecha. Everything is seen way into the future. Hakol Safri Marosh. Everything's known from the beginning, but you still have Rishus to do as you wish. Most people understand this Mishnah and Avis is the classic Bechira versus Yediyas Hashem. How do you reconcile Hashem knowing everything with Safri Marosh, and yet we have free will? It can't be that's pshat, I should say. It doesn't seem likely that's the pshat in Pirkei Avos, because Pirkei Avos is not a philosophy book. It's a book on how do you live your life. This is a great philosophical, existential question. What does it mean? Am I alive? Do I have Bechira? If Hashem knows everything in advance, do I have Bechira? That's a great philosophical question. But Pirkei Avos is not a philosophy book. It's not. It's a book on ethics and how to behave. But it's not a philosophy book. So what does this really mean? Rabbeinu Yaina, when he discusses Bechira, he says there's a Maila called Bechira. What do you mean a Maila called Bechira? It's not a virtue. It's not a Maila. It's our essence. What does that mean? It's a Maila called Bechira. What's he referring to? I'll say this in a shorter version of it. But the truth is that why do we have Bechira? So the simple explanation is, well, that makes us more like Hashem in the sense that when we choose to do good over, what we choose good over evil, so then we get rewarded and we get schar and the zaynish, right? We have to choose good over bad. There's a deeper understanding of Bechira. Bechira, when it says Hashem created us b'tselem Elokim, what does that mean, b'tselem Elokim? So the first one, what it means, He gave us Bechira. Why is that b'tselem Elokim?
What does Bechira mean?
Free will.
Yeah.
Choice. Why is that the definition of Tzelem Elokim? Because the definition of Hashem is, the world needs Hashem, the Rambam says, but Hashem doesn't need the world. What does that mean? Hashem is totally independent. Hashem has no needs and is dependent on nothing. By definition, Hashem has no dependency, no needs. Bechira is the same thing. Bechira, when I can choose, means I'm not dependent on you, or not dependent on a mood, I'm not dependent on a time. I do independently what I want to do. That's what free will is. We're most like HaKadosh Baruch Hu when we exercise our free will. Hence, Tzelem Elokim is defined by Bechira, because we're most like Hashem when we act with our independence. But what does it mean to act with independence? Like I said, if you do chesed when you're in the mood, that's not really acting independence. It's doing because you're in the mood. When you do mitzvahs when you feel like it, that's not really making a choice. It's just because you felt like doing it, you did it. Bechira is when you don't want to do it and you still do it. Free will is not to do what you want. It's actually not to do what you want, right? To do what you want is not Bechira. You want to take it over, right? So Bechira is the ability to be in control, which is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is all about. So when the Mishnah says Hakol Safim Areish, it's not talking about in the big scheme of the world. It means every one of us is created from the very beginning with certain teva, certain nature. Hakol Safim Areish. Everyone is created from the very beginning with their own personality and their own, the whole spiritual makeup. However, but what you make of that, that's up to you. In other words, the idea is to be misgaber, to be able to overcome whatever your midos. If you're inherently lazy and you overcome them, that's independence. I'm not dependent on my laziness. I do what I want, right? That's being in charge. That's being in charge. There was a story of a rabbi. He went on a train someplace, and he went to lie down. And there was a sleeping car. And he says, I really like to smoke. They used to smoke pipes in those days. They actually thought it was good for digestion. So he says, nah, I'm lying in bed already. I got my pajamas on. I have to get up, put on a robe, go to the other car next door, and get my pipe. Nah, I'm not doing that. He goes, what? I'm lazy? Jumps out of bed, puts on his robe, goes two things down, sticks his hand into the coat pocket to get his pipe, goes, what? I have to have a smoke? No. And he puts it back, goes back to sleep. All right? In other words, I want to make choices. I'm not getting my pipe because I'm lazy to get up. I don't want to get the pipe because I chose not to get the pipe. I have to smoke? Who says I have to smoke? I don't have to smoke, right? That's when you're in charge. Hakol Safim Areish means we have inborn character traits. We have inborn character traits. But are we choosing or not? Right? We're choosing or not. That's up to us. Noach was different than Avram. Noach was passive. He just did whatever came comfortable to him. and easy to him. Abraham, because or Bihi Baram, the Torah tells us, Bihi Baram is Isis Abraham. He was creative. He forged his own path. He was a creator. Noach was not effective because he was not. He just who he was who he was. It's kind of like, if somebody repeats the same speech every single week, after a while it doesn't have an impact because it's not who you are. Right? It's not who you are. But Abraham, he was genuine from who he was. So Noach was more passive. Abraham was more creative. Therefore, he's more effective. But Noach wasn't as effective because he was never getting out there and doing more. He just was happy where he was. He wasn't overcoming his tendencies.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If Adam, let's say for argument's sake, he wouldn't eat from the tree of the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
All of us right now would be in the Garden of Eden, and how would they see the world? How are we going to have children?
You asked me two tough questions. I can't answer that question now.
He would never leave the garden, right? He would never die. He would never do like agricultural work.
The world would be in a different world. The world would be in a totally different world.
So just going to have babies and that's it? God give us food?
How do you know we would have...
You wouldn't work,
you
right?
have a baby?
Sure.
You would have
the world would be a different world. Plan B... this world is
You're
plan
trying
B.
to go back to the same world that we came from,
yes.
right? So that if they were supposed to have kids and have children,
they had kids. Sure, they had kids.
And they were naked too.
So I was told that it only took 3 hours to make that scene, right?
I don't know which hour day it was. I think it was more than 3 hours. It wasn't the 8th hour. I forget what it was. I don't know whichever it was. Once I had to go through all the hours. I just forget which one it was. Maybe it's 3 hours.
3 hours for what?
Yeah.
So from the creation to make this.
But the world would have been a different world, 100%. I mean.
And they had two kids in that already.
Yeah,
so the baby came out.
Right, very quickly.
And so when they were born, the kids were born with.
What they do for work all 24 hours a day? What they do? Walk in the garden?
That's a great question. No. So okay.
They're bored.
No. Okay. So there's a difference. There's two avodas. There's a avoda of maintaining, and a avoda of creating. Their avoda would have been to maintain what they had. Because they already had the highest level, just to keep that, as opposed to trying to get to that level. But the world would have been different. I don't want to get to that, but look, in the Gan Eden, the snake talked, right? You see a talking snake? No. The animals were totally different then also. The animals were on a higher level. Everything's on a higher level. And plan B is the world that we're living in now, with Misa, with limitations, and without... Plan A would have been not even a Kleisol. The whole world would have been humanity.
Different.
Would have been Adam. Would have been a different world. It was a different world. There wouldn't have been there wouldn't have been 70 nations. It would have been one Adam. That's a different concept. Okay. Well, just very quickly, by the way, for Shabbos, there's a song we sing, Yaina Matzah by Menach, V'sham Yenuchu Yigei Kayach, right? That's based on this week's parsha. Yaina Matzah by Menach. The Yaina, when Noach sent the Yaina out of the table, he finally found rest. Right? Why are we seeing that on Shabbos? What's it got to do with Shabbos? So Yaina is also, the dove represents the neshama. In fact, we talked about it even by Yonah and the fish. We said Yonah represents the neshama, the Gilgal and the Shamos. Remember we talked about once, right? Yonah. So it goes like this: Yaina matzah by Menayach. The neshama found rest on the day of Shabbos. V'sham yanuchu, and over there they rest yigiyei koyach, those that are weary and depleted of strength. Who's that referring to? What does that mean? I don't know if you go to Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim anyway. I think Yerushalayim. When the Meir Matzah Shabbos, they go when they say V'hu Rachum, they go V'hu Rachum. They don't go V'hu Rachum. They go V'hu Rachum. They stole out the letter Hey. V'hu Rachum. You know why? Because there's no Gehenna on Shabbos. Gehenna shuts down on Shabbos. So Motzei Shabbos when it starts up again. So we don't want to start Gehenna right away. So we stole a little second. So Gehenna starts. Obviously Gehenna goes on Yishalmi time. That's what goes, right? Everything goes. That's why. So V'hu Rachum. When we decide what Ma'ariv is, so we want to delay just a little bit. So V'sham Yanuchu Yigik. Where's V'sham? V'sham means Gehenna. V'sham over there.
Is this Israel, Jerusalem's time, or what?
Jerusalem time. Yeah, 100%. V'sham, and over there in Gehenna, Yanuchu will rest. Yigiyei Koyach. Even those that are Yigiyei Koyach means people in Gehenna will rest on Shabbos too. On Shabbos, there's no Gehenna. So Yonah B'Tzav V'sham Yanuchu Yigiyei Koyach. V'sham is in Gehenna. Yanuchu Yigiyei Koyach. There's no Gehenna on Shabbos. Okay, let's just do one last thing. There are two stories in this parsha that are larger than life. The Mabul, larger than life story, and the Dar HaFlaga, the Tower of Babel. And they're both in the same parsha l'chayr for a reason. Huge stories. The Dar HaMabul, if I could put it in one theme, very simply, is it was all about me. Every person was in for themselves. What I want, and I want it now. I want your thing, I stole it. I wanted your wife, I stole it. There was no gvulim, there were no boundaries whatsoever. I don't accept any limitations upon myself. Whatever I want, it's all about me. And that's the world that ultimately
They were
kids like.
killing also. People were killing each other.
Yeah, of course, everything. Everything, did everything wrong. All right? In fact, that's why the Vlogger said, hey, we see how that world didn't survive, at least let's have unity, right? That's what they did. But the Dar HaMabul is all about me. All about the individual. I could care less about you, I could care less about the community. Me. That's it. Like someone said, the iPhone, the iPad, it's all I. This Dar is all I. Right? It's all I. The Dar HaFlaga is just the opposite. We're going to build this community. We'll all act together in unison, which sounds nice, except there was no I. We'll suppress the I. There won't be any I whatsoever. We'll be just one blurred identity, this common goal, which sounds good, but it's a very dangerous thing for two reasons. First of all, there needs to be individuality. A great rabbi once said, when communism first started, he said, it's not going to last. Can't. And he said, not because it's godless, not because there's no God in communism, but because when you rob a person of their individuality, you don't have to feel they're accomplishing something, you take away their drive and their ambition, they're done. That's why half of Russians are drunk today. They have no ambition, I don't mean it's a joke. There's no drive, because you've taken away the incentive that if you do, you'll get. No, it's not me. So this large community is that. Plus, when you do that also, when you have a community, if it's corrupt, it lends itself to tyranny. You have like even communists. You had Lenin and Stalin. They ruled. They had everybody and the Darfars lead that as well. So you have two polar opposites. You have the Mabul sin of it's only about me, and the Dar HaFlaga, which is there's no me whatsoever. Both are not good. Dar Mabul is dangerous when it's only about me and you don't have a sense of a collective identity. On the other hand, the Dar HaFlaga, which is all about collective identity and not allowing any sense of individuality, that's dangerous too. You need both. So they're both kind of bookends in the sense they both represent. And Hillel kind of said it himself. If I don't have a sense of self, who will be there for me? Shani lats me money. If I'm only for what am I? Right? So both are true. And those represent the two extreme versions of what's wrong. It can't be only about me, but you have to have a sense of self also. It can't be just a collective whole, and blurring the identity of a self as well. We'll stop here. We'll pick it up.
That's good.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you. And there's the